What's up, guys? It is Texas Homer here with Eric Nalin. This is Inside the Program, early edition this week because we're playing on Friday, not Saturday. So we wanted to get the Texas team news to you guys so you could digest it before the big game versus Ohio State, guys. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And also right now, we've got a flash sale, $1 for 7 days to the best Texas football and Texas sports website out there. Subscribe today. We are not going to waste any time. Eric, how was practice this week?
Uh, it was a focus practice. There's no better way to get your attention than playing the hottest team in the country in the national semifinals. Winner gets a chance to play the winner of Penn State, Notre Dame. So that's an attention getter. But really, the way that Ohio State's been playing of late has, I think, focused this team. Definitely given Sark a lot of fodder. They all see the scores. They see them, beating very good. Destroying playoff teams. So that's going to focus them. They know that they've got to bring it every day. They've pretty much. This is airing on Wednesday. They'll practice, probably practicing right now. They'll finish up practice pretty soon, and then they'll head their way to Dallas today. So that means they had to advance everything. So they've already done their heavy practices. They've done their walk today. I think they're doing a walkthrough. So they're pretty much done. Obviously they'll keep doing. They'll have something tomorrow, probably a walkthrough. But they're pretty much done after this practice today. And so far, so good based on what we've heard, the amount of focus, the urgency that everybody's preparing with. And nobody wants to be embarrassed. On top of it, they want to win the game. But they know that there's a thin line when you play Ohio State, a hot team like this. They've got to bring it on every play.
Yeah, and so they saw Ohio State beating teams, but also they've surely heard everyone's opinions on the close game versus Arizona State. So how are they feeling about that? A little embarrassed, a little bit ready to get some blood or something like that?
Yeah, well, yeah. A source, no, Sark's not the source. I wish. A source mentioned that on top of Ohio State, crushing Oregon, that they did struggle with Arizona State. Now they feel like they didn't. Yes, they narrowly won. They feel like defense played a much better game than it looked like on paper. Just kind of a weird game. But they know that Ohio State is a lot better than Arizona State, and there's a chance to be embarrassed if they don't bring it. And so they're focused as can be. There's plenty of confidence as well. I think they've got a good plan that we'll get into a little bit later, at least as much as we can. But there's a lot of fans saying, don't be scared. Nobody's scared, but you have to go in here clear-eyed and sober and understand that this team can embarrass you if you do not play well. And so I think they're practicing with urgency and preparing with urgency. And I like what I've heard so far.
Yeah, so let's talk about Sark. This is where head coaches get to shine, baby, in their propaganda arm, right? Kirby Smart did it with us. So here's the thing, right? Here, block out the media. Don't listen to anybody, which hopefully they're honoring. But also Sark is selectively grabbing a couple clips that he might want to show the team. So what's going on there?
Yeah, it's always rat poison when you're doing well, but when everybody expects you to lose, it's at the forefront. Sark's sharing the hot takes from the national pundits. Definitely tell them don't pay attention to the media. I'll filter it for you. But here's what they're saying. I think it is a motivating factor to some degree. But at the same time, they still have plenty of confidence going in this game. They feel like they're a great defense. They feel like they have plenty of offensive weapons to move the ball. So it's not like that they need this motivation or they need this fear, but I think it's nice to have maybe a little bit of an added lift. We've seen them do well with bulletin board material in the past. This isn't coming from Ohio State, but it is coming from the pundit class. Expectations nationally are kind of low, and there is a belief that if Ohio State plays like they have the last couple of weeks, they will blow out Texas. I think that can only help.
How are they feeling? Because they both played Michigan. Is there any thought process there of having a common opponent?
Yeah, well, clearly Sark is too smart to take any value of the transitive property, but I think he is trying to boost confidence. So, everybody behind the scenes is, they kicked the crap out of Michigan. It was worse than the score looked like. And then Michigan owned Ohio State this past season. At least, Michigan didn't move the ball much, but their defense, bottled them up. And, Ohio State had been bottled up by some other teams as well. And so, there's reasons for Texas to have confidence. I think a recency bias is driving a lot of the narrative, fan narrative and national narrative. Sark is just telling them, no, this is who we are. And they're definitely beatable. You got to get them to that breaking point is what Sark said. Every team has a breaking point. Got to get them to that and push them beyond it.
All right, so this is going to be a fun game. We got a lot of coordinators going on, a lot of scheme here, and you're going to end up matchup hunting. But before you can even get to matchups and those little battles that are occurring, you're going to have to win the overall battle on the lines because football is about the trenches. But what does Texas need to do to get the win here?
Yeah, I mean, that's been the formula to give Ohio State trouble, and that's, one of the main reasons that Michigan has had so much success, that and good coverage schemes. Texas feels like they've got to win on both lines of scrimmage. The offensive line has to buy time for pass pro, and I'm not hearing a whole lot about them trying to bully Ohio State, which makes me feel a whole lot better about things.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. But then on the defensive line, they're gonna have to figure out a way to give pressure. I don't know the exact number, but I think Ohio State has given up the fewest sacks in the country this year. So Texas is going to have to get pressure, apply pressure on Howard. When you do that, he does tend to make mistakes. And they've got to figure out to make sure that they don't find balance on offense. They can't let them pass the ball and run the ball. So that's pretty much boils down to winning the line of scrimmage. And then, they do talk a lot about matchup hunting, because it's going to be a cat and mouse game between the OCs and DCs. Texas has a lot of different ways that they can get guys open. We saw them, we saw how they won that game against Arizona State, or, at least saved their season on the Matthew Golden thing. That's kind of been a staple for Sark. When he's able to find those matchups and Quinn is able to convert them, Texas puts points on the board. But Ohio State has that same ability. Everybody talks about Jeremiah Smith, but they do a lot of things with Emeka Egbuka to take advantage of that. In addition to Gunnar Helm, I like what I've heard with some plans of DeAndre Moore. Of course, he's still got to convert the catch and all that if it comes his way. But I think Texas does have some matchups that it can exploit, even against equally good defense in Ohio State.
You mentioned Egbuka and you mentioned Smith earlier. We will definitely talk about them because they need special attention. But before we keep going, guys, let's hear a word from Andre the Lawyer.
This video is brought to you by Andre the Lawyer. If you're injured, trust the team that secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans with their injury case. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, and wrongful deaths. Don't let insurance tell you what your claim is worth. Hire Andre the Lawyer to fight for you. Principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait and call Andre the Lawyer today at 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. The contact information is in the description.
Thank you, LC, as always.
Hey, I'll be seeing Andre will be there Friday. Grease Monkey in Arlington Friday. If you're looking for a place, we'll buy you some beer. $10 shuttle to and from Grease Monkey to the stadium. Man, you can't beat that. It's definitely going to be cheaper than parking, and it'll probably save you a very long walk in the cold. So come see us at Grease Monkey.
Yeah, if you have not been to Cowboy Stadium, it is a nightmare getting out of there as well. So if you can, shuttle in. It's a way better situation. Okay, we've heard it. Ian's talked about it. Paul's talked about it. We've all talked about it. Jeremiah Smith is a special player, and Egbuka will challenge you in the slot if you're devoting too much resources to Smith. So just kind of overall picture, are the coaches aware that these are good players?
Yeah. This is the most delicate subject to talk about, probably, even though I think it is kind of common sense what you do here. Yeah, they have the ultimate respect for those guys. And, Carnell Tate was mentioned as well, because, a lot of teams, Carnell Tate makes hay because a lot of teams are so focused on Smith and Egbuka. And, he's a good receiver. Texas wanted Carnell Tate. I remember talking to Carnell Tate on campus. He visited. So he's a quality player. I think that there's, Michigan has kind of written the template on what to do, but not everybody has the personnel that able to pull it off. If you focus too much defending the pass, they'll just run on you. Michigan was able to defend the run with a more honest box. Is that something Texas can duplicate? I think there's a decent chance we're going to see them give it the old college try, but they're going to mix and match. I mean, Jahdae Barron's a Thorpe Award winner. It's not like Jeremiah Smith's just going to go out there and embarrass him. At least I don't think. But you got to like the fact that they've got two smart and rangy safeties that they're able to use sort of interchangeably in Michael Taff and Andrew Makuba. Taff might not be the fastest guy of all time, but he's smart and, diagnoses very well and anticipates very well. So I think he's got good play speed. And then I think we've really seen Andrew Makuba, since he came back from injury, he's been fantastic. You saw his range. You saw that the ball where he jumped that pass to seal the game last week. That looked like a cornerback. So you got to like the help that Texas has over the top, pretty much as any. It really, Paul talks about Ohio State having the best safeties in the country. Texas might have the best cover safeties on the back end as far as heady play, smart play, and coverage ability. So I think Texas has a good plan in place. Got to watch Carnell Tate, though, as well. If Manny Muhammad draws him, Manny's had a couple issues the past couple of weeks. He's got all the ability to go blow for blow with Carnell Tate, no doubt, but he's going to have to do his end too.
Good stuff. All right. Now, the toughest matchup for us will be our offense versus the Ohio State defense because this is a really good defense. Yeah, maybe. Hopefully. So we'll see. So what are we going to do, man? Give us every single strategy that we're going to employ. But really, is it going to be a pass-heavy game? Are we going to try to run this on a good run defense? What are we going to do?
Yeah, well, to say that, we're talking about where they have confidence. We're not trying to say overall. They have confidence they're going to move the ball. It's not going to be 500 yards, score 40 points.
We're not calling shots here. Yeah,
nobody's thinking that. They do think that their ability to move the ball around to a number of different targets is important. That's something that they probably haven't done enough of. Certainly against Arizona State, Gunnar Helm got his first catch with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
against you can't do that, and they know that. And so I think they've got a good chance to get a lot more people involved in the passing game, whether it be running backs, tight ends, wide receivers. When they were at their best moving the ball this year, everybody, you have guys with, have 11 guys with a reception on the team, that sort of thing. I think they feel pretty good about being able to do that. They also like Matthew Golden, regardless of what corner covers him. Both those corners have talent for sure. But Matthew Golden's route running, the fact that he'll be isolated on those guys quite a bit. Quinn is obviously getting more comfortable throwing balls to him, fade balls to him. And so there's a lot of confidence in what Matthew Golden does. But a lot of this is going to come down to, Sark's play calls. They're going to have to be able to pick up the blitz. They're a great blitzing team with their linebackers. A lot of this is going to come down to Sark having the right calls, them making the right protections, executing. Very tough matchup for Texas. Curious to see how it goes.
Me too. And then finally, we have two guys that we want to talk about injury update wise. What's the latest on wide receiver Isaiah Bond and right tackle Cam Williams?
Yeah, well, one is a total non-update. I don't know on Williams yet. I'll probably figure it out. Last week we had we basically relayed what was going to happen. I don't know on Williams yet. Bond, we hear Bond is pretty healthy. I'm going to have more notes on Bond before the game. I'm going to have 4 or 5 more notes, within a half hour of kickoff. So it's a little bit sensitive, but not too sensitive. Too sensitive, we wouldn't share it. But certainly stuff we don't want out there, 2 days in advance. I'll have a little bit more on Bond. But Bond, we hear Bond is healthy. And, I was watching the replay of the Arizona State game last night. I went back and watched the play where, was he targeted? Could he have been targeted? The interception that Quinn threw, man, he was running really well on that route. And I took that to my source and they said, yeah, he's healthy, man. Don't, if he's not being used, it's an integration issue or something else. So look for Bond to be healthy. That at least gives him a chance to have a breakout game. They really need to find another complementary receiver to Matthew Golden. Not ruling out Bond, but we haven't seen enough of late to have confidence that will be him. And then on Cameron Williams, at least we're not hearing that he's a game time decision. That's been kind of the death knell of late. So I'll have another update on Cam Williams. At least they really got to get him back. It could be the last game of the season. They've got 2 big physical edges. You really like to have your first round draft pick bookending the other first round draft pick going up against these quality edges.
Absolutely. All right, good stuff, guys. That's the latest team news on a Wednesday opposed to a Friday. So you guys are getting it early. I'm excited about this game. It should be a lot of fun. I'm going up to the team hotel today. Eric, like he said, he will be on site. So y'all holler at him. Go hang out at Grease Monkey, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Grease Monkey. Drive safely. And when I say drive safely, just don't get me stuck in traffic. If you get in a fender bender, get out of my way. I'll be in 4-wheel drive coming through. Now, seriously, drive safely, everybody. Stay warm. Come have a beer with us at Grease Monkey. And hopefully we're talking on the other side about a win.
All right, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video and subscribe to InsideTexas.com. Until we see you next time. Hook 'em.